everybody through. I'm going to show you where it is, and you can stay on that page. I'm going to work from a Jamboard. So, Caleb, I don't know if you need to move up so you can see better or not. All right, when we first started for the remote weeks, we had a CER. CER is Claim Evidence Reasoning, and it was on spontaneous generation using the scientific method. So now we're going to look at one on enzymes. So what you do is you read the scenario, and there's a question at the end, and you have to do these following things. In one sentence, you have to answer the question, and then you have to provide 3 pieces of evidence, and these come from anything that we've learned so far about enzymes, and then you have to explain how or why your evidence supports your claim. In other words, it explains why your evidence is important, and you're going to do that in a text box. I hope I have a ticket yet. So you would click here, and you're going to type as I write over here. So this is what I've got typed up on yours, and I just put it up here so that we can kind of put it up, and if you do what I put, it's an easy grade there. So anything, and I don't think I mentioned this, anything that ends in ASE is a enzyme. So catalase is an enzyme that catalyzes the reaction converting hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. So that's just telling you what catalase is. Scientists at Science Industries are making catalase artificially for use in the classrooms. However, something went wrong in the lab. One night, the lab's resident cat, Bowser, escaped his crate and accidentally mixed up some of the reactions. A few of the, and we've got to know the term here, hydrophobic amino acids that make up catalase activated site were switched with hydrophilic. So let's remember that hydrophobic think of it as hates water, and hydrophilic loves water. All right, so on the on catalase, there are hydrophobic amino acids at the active site. But because the cat bumped and switched some stuff, they became hydrophilic. So now they're going to be attracted to water. As a result, the shape of the active site changed. When scientists test this batch of catalase and hydrogen peroxide, what will happen? All right, so mixed up some, so did not mix up all. So now we need to think about our what we know about enzymes. We know that if their shape is changed, they are denatured. And are they going to work when they're denatured? Will enzymes work when they're denatured?
No.
No. All right, so, and it's not all of them, just some of them. So it says, what will happen? Well, so we need our claim, and you don't have to type claim. You can just type the sentences, or you can type it like this if you want. So catalase, so if some of them are denatured and some of them are okay, what's going to happen? So is are the scientists going to get, all of the hydrogen peroxide broken down? If some of the enzymes will not work, will they get all of the hydrogen peroxide broken down?
No.
No. So, I was going to type in here. So you could say, well, that doesn't text box. Okay, here we go. So you could say, so when scientists, so I'm going to go back to this where the question is, and I'm going to start with what they said. I'm going to say, just copy, when scientists test this batch of catalase in hydrogen peroxide, so I'm just going to copy that first. Oh, not like that. There. Of catalase. All right, we know that the enzyme, because some of it was messed up, it is not going to catalyze all of the hydrogen peroxide, correct? So I'm going to look back up here, and it says catalyzes hydrogen, the reaction converting hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. So if the enzymes all worked, you would end up with all water and oxygen. But because some of them are not working, you're going to end up with some hydrogen peroxide left over. So you would say the enzyme will not catalyze the reaction completely, and some hydrogen peroxide will remain. So that is your claim. That is your first sentence. Oops. So that would be the first thing you would type in the text box. All right, we need 3 reasons for evidence that for this. So I underlined some of them, and because I moved my picture, my underline. There we go. I underlined that hydrophobic amino acids were mixed up at the active site for hydrophilic ones. All right, so that could be one. So the amino acids are different. So, right? So the one piece of evidence, so if I come over here, let me get another text box. I'll put my evidence, actually I'm gonna go to the next thing. All right, one piece of evidence here is that the sequence of amino acids in the protein was changed. All right, and so that's one piece of evidence. What is another piece of evidence? We know that, what do we know about the active site? Does it have to have a specific shape?
No, it was changed.
All right, it was changed, so the active site the active site's shape is made to interact with a specific substrate. And in this case, ours was hydrogen peroxide. All right. And then we know that hydrogen peroxide is supposed to interact with that enzyme, right? It has to bind to that active site. So, the substrate, we know it's hydrogen peroxide, must bind with the active site for the reaction to be catalyzed. So I'm just using the terms from the writing. And why I left spaces is a lot of times I like to put my reasoning with my evidence. So I left, and that these should be capitalized there. So I'm going to go back, and here I need to explain why. So I'm going to put it in a different color here. So I'm going to explain why here. So the sequence of amino acids in a protein was changed. So, and the sequence, determines, and you may not know this yet, determines the shape of the active site, I guess sequence of amino acids. So if there is a change then the shape will change. Not a little bit repetitive, but all right. And so now we know that here, so the active site's shape is made to interact with a specific substrate. We can say, since the active site is a different shape, it will not be able to interact with the substrate. All right, well, we might need to do it a different way. So you can put the planes here. This is and maybe we'll get better this lesson. All right, so our reasoning is the sequence determines the shape, and if there's a change in the sequence, and the shape will change. Since the active site is a different shape, it's not going to be able to interact with the substrate. And then you can say, therefore, the reaction will not catalyze completely, and hydrogen peroxide will remain with the water and oxygen that is produced. So something to that effect. So feel free to word it differently if you can word it better than I did. But the whole point is you make a claim, which is on the other side. You're either agreeing or disagreeing with what the passage said. Then you come up with at least 3 things of evidence. And then you can put your reasoning at the end. And that's what you'll submit. The one thing that we haven't got to is how the sequence of amino acids actually determine the shape of the protein. So that would be a piece you may not have gotten on your own. But you could have mentioned that they were switched from hydrophobic to hydrophilic. I mean, there's a couple different ways you can do it. So I'm going to leave that up there. The claim is on the previous page. Might be able to pull it over here. Let me go back and see if I can cut this.
Do we submit it when we're done?
Yes, when you get it typed in that text box, you submit it. And that is all I had for today. If you were able to get your, that's small, but there's I can really do it up here. That's all I had for us to do today was this right here with the quiz. I did put, and if you still need this, I'll come back to it in just a minute. If you click and look at today's date, while people are working on the quiz, I added a link to a Kahoot. I moved the mouse too much, it doesn't want to. Yes. We're going to be testing. So what we're going to do tomorrow is, I actually put it on tomorrow. So assuming you can see Thursday, because I can see it here. If you click on this Kahoot link, you play it against yourself. And if anybody else is logged on, it's kind of, you're in a race against yourself. It's an independent way of doing Kahoot. So you can use that to study. If you want to earn extra credit points, click on the Quizlet review here. So Thursday, if I have enough people online and willing to participate, we'll probably go through a Kahoot, a live Kahoot, a normal way, to review, and then it'll give you a chance in class to actually get some of the other things completed that you haven't completed yet and review as part of the review. Friday, on our remote day, the only thing that you'll have to do at home is your test. And I'll email out the code for that. So Friday, taking your test, and I may have a bell ringer there as well. That will indicate your attendance for Friday. So any questions about that? All right, so the rest of class and those that are here through lunch, you can work on missing assignments. If you've gotten this done, you want to take free points. Anytime we do something together, it's free points. I'll work on getting the video posted once it's finished for anybody else that needs to see it. And then if you're all caught up, you can begin reviewing. If not, you need to go back and catch up on anything that you haven't completed. So if you don't have any questions, those that are online are free to go.
Okay, so that